case of People versus James T. Clune. Record should reflect that Mr. Clune is here representing himself pro se, having been qualified previously to do such. Mr. Clune, is there any legal reason why sentence cannot be imposed?
None that I know of.
Anything you'd like to say?
Yes, there is. First of all, I want to thank you again for listening to us, for listening to us tell us our stories. I also appreciate the amount of work that you did between the trial and today, and the anguish that you say you underwent. And I appreciate your insight into the values of those agreements. I want to thank you again. I'm 64 years old. My wife is in the courtroom with me this evening. We raised 6 kids. They're all adults now, all out of the house. I'm a former Jesuit seminarian and a graduate of Lemoyne, retired postal worker. When I was a student at Lemoyne over 40 years ago, I learned from my teachers, both clerical and lay, that as an educated white man, I am privileged. Privileged because I live in an empire where whites, usually men, set the terms of the political, economic, and military discourse around the world. And I have learned since then that that privilege, which I share to a greater or lesser degree with almost everybody in this room, comes at a great price to others. The price of death in wars of friends and adversaries alike. Death through economic sanctions, death through repression by our allies, death through cancers from radiation poisoning from our weapons. I have personally seen these prices paid by people I have seen when I have traveled with peace delegations to El Salvador, Iraq, and Palestine. Specifically, I have seen this price paid by a tiny Iraqi infant dying of malnutrition, bloated belly and all, in a hospital in Amara in Iraq. I apologized to her mother and took their picture. The most difficult moment in my life. In fact, it was a little more difficult than this one, actually. I cannot forget her or her mother. Not here, not today. So the question is, what do I do that can possibly end or abate, or at the very least, delegitimize these deaths, these extrajudicial assassinations and the killing of villagers by drones? Actually, delegitimizing them is probably the best service to the human community that I can do. I know I can't stop war by myself, but I believe that all of us together can, including your own. Calling attention to the deaths of innocents, indeed all deaths, and unmasking the illusions, lies, evasions of truth, vested interests, and false values that lead to them is community service. A community service that I have been involved with all my life, all my adult life. For me to engage in community service under court order, under the judgment that what I did on April the 22nd was illegitimate, would betray my memory of those hospitalized Iraqi children whom I saw. I cannot cooperate with community service as a sentence. I believe I've already been doing that. And neither can I pay a fine. And here I must be brutally realistic. If the U.S. pulled our empire out of the Middle East, stopped taking the resources of other people for our comfort and security, apologized for our transgressions, and made a massive effort of reparations to clean up our mess, under the direction of their people, not our corporations, corporate leaders, I might consider a direct monetary contribution to that effort. But we all know that that is not going to happen today. So my paying a fine today would negate and even hinder that change in American activities. My intent is not to pay a fine. If Your Honor, in your judicial wisdom, you decide that I must be given a negative sanction, I invite you to give me a jail sentence. Visiting with and listening to, and maybe possibly advocating for powerless people as a community service that I am willing to continue in lockup. And finally, the next time we go in front of Hancock Air Base legal rally. I would sincerely invite you to join us.
Well, I understand the sincerity in your voice and what you're saying. I am going to sentence the community service in a fine. I understand you're saying you're going to be disobedient to that, but I'm going to give you that opportunity. If it doesn't happen by the 29th, then I guess the choice that I'm going to have left is to look at the alternatives. But I am going to at least give you that opportunity.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Sentence to judgment is court will be concurrently on the 2 disorderly conduct convictions, 1-year conditional discharge, conditions being stay out of further trouble with the criminal justice system, complete 20 hours community service with proof to the court on or before 2/29/2012 at 5:00 p.m. I'm opposing the $250 fine, $125 surcharge. I will have you served with a summons with notice that if you do not pay it willfully, then there will be a civil judgment entered against you. If there's a valid reason that you're not able to pay it, the court will entertain that. You do have a right to appeal the sentence and judgment of this court. If you wish to do so, you have to file a notice of appeal with this court within 30 days, and thereafter you perfect your appeal with the county court. If you need a form for the notice of appeal, it is available on the New York State Court's website, and we also do have the forms here within our court. I know I gave I think you guys have. So with that, I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for taking this seriously.